the record button and get started here a little bit. Good morning, everybody. Other people be coming in. Hey, what's up? What's up, John? Is that Black River Resources?
Yes, sir. How you doing, man?
What's going on, man? Good to see
All
you.
right.
Good to finally see you.
Yes, sir.
You came in with
Yeah.
the lady, Miss Ford.
Yeah, Regina. Yep.
Yeah, Regina. Yeah. So coming in as dispatching. And people are coming in, so I'm doing a quick roll call real quick as we come in. But I always start at 11. So
All right.
let's see. So we got John, we got Tanya, we got who is this? U3 Wham. I have no idea. And then we got Monique. So tell me about yourself, John. As far as like okay, we got Natasha coming in, two people waiting to come in. Tiga and Natasha. As far what brought you into here's Regina's coming in now. What brought you into the transportation industry or dispatching industry? What got you?
I'm just interested. I'm interested in different businesses. Of course, creating residual income. I have a couple of friends who are in the industry as well. So I was just, I'm interested in just learning about the transportation industry and just basically generating some new income for me and my family.
There you go. There you go. I get that. I get that. So yeah, residual. So there's three types of income. Well, let's have a quick financial lesson in, right? Well, you know people in the trucking industry, so you got some connections. So if you know owner operators that are probably, you'll reach out to them and say, hey, I started a dispatching company. If you need a dispatcher, or if you ever need a dispatcher, let me see what I can do for you.
Yep, exactly.
So yeah, so three types of, residual income. That's a good idea. You never want to leave all your eggs in one basket, right? There's three types of income that I'm aware of. The first one is earned income. That's the one that we go to work for every day for an employer, right? And then we got
Trading time for money.
yeah. So and then we got the worst type of money, right? And then we got it's taxed. It's taxed the most. People who go to work are taxed the most. They're taxed at about, I would say, in upwards of about 60%. So that's earned income. And then you got what's called portfolio income, right? Those are your stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, and things like that, right?
Exactly.
And that stuff grows over time depending on where you park your money, your rate of return, ROIs, and things like that. And then your third type of income is passive income, right? You've heard of passive income. This is where money's working for you as opposed to you working for it.
Right.
So this is the goal. This is where we're trying to get to, right? As entrepreneurs, we're trying to get to the passive income realm where we can sit back and while we're asleep, money is working for us.
Mailbox money, as we call it, too.
Mailbox money, exactly. Right now, but you have to crawl before you walk. So earned income, working for an employer. At some point, you're going to get to that straw camel's back mentality. Like, look, I'm just tired of being tired of this guy. This employer is crazy. I don't want to deal with these attitudes at work. I was there. Trust me. One day you might want to knock somebody out. Like, look, man, I'm not trying to.
One day, every day.
Yeah, you have a day every Monday through Friday, huh? So the transportation industry and dispatching particularly is an opportunity to create, if you will, passive income. So because this is an industry that's recession as well as, for what we see now, pandemic proof, right? And it's a $1.4 trillion industry annually. That's across all the spaces in all the categories in the transportation industry: rails, planes, sea, and land. Now, land transportation with the truck drivers, that's about 800 billion. So give me 1/2 of 1% of that and I'll be a millionaire.
You're damn right.
You see what I'm saying?
That's
so now this platform is for beginners, those who know very little, if anything, about being freight dispatchers or freight brokers. I also go over freight brokering as well. So good morning, Natasha. Good morning, Angel. As I'm talking, Charo, Anthony, Regina. Welcome, Regina. There's your partner, John, Regina. forward. And so I'm just doing a roll call. But this platform here, oh, Kalisha, people are coming in now. I gotta let everybody in. There's so many people in. Give me 1 second. I'm letting people in. People are just coming in. Tavares. Oh, we're about to grow. We're about to have about 50, 60 people in here. So, because this platform is Dispatcher 101 training for beginners, those who know very little, if anything, about being freight dispatchers. What's the process from start to finish, step by step, right? You might have trainings that'll give you training, but they'll give you terms and talk to you in a way that they expect you to understand something. But you cannot feed a baby steak. You got to feed it Gerber, right? So you can't just expect. I can't expect you to know all the terminology and the jargon of carriers, all the terminology and jargon of brokers when you call and try to book loads. I have to instruct you in a way that's going to get you familiar with that from day one. So when you call a carrier trying to solicit or trying to convince them that you want to be their dispatcher, then you will have the understanding and the lingo and the language that they understand. So when you guys communicate, they'll be like, okay, yeah, I understand. So, and the same thing holds true with the broker. When you call a broker as a dispatcher for your carrier on a particular load that you saw on a load board, you will be able to talk to them in a way that they know that you know what you're talking about, and you guys can get the load booked in a timely fashion. That's the whole idea. What's up, Tony? Anthony? That's the whole idea of this platform.
Good morning.
From a very basics perspective, okay? Just a high level overview for you, John.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
So let me start off from the last training. Are there any like basic preliminary questions? Anybody want something explained? Because I'm going to welcome the newer people and give them a little tour of the back office. Because I know some of you guys have sent me a Monique raised her hand. Go ahead, Monique.
If I sat down and watched all the videos from this, how long would it take me to go through it? If I had like 2 weeks of vacation, how long would it take?
Okay, so you said so you got 2 weeks of vacation. If you sat down and watched all the videos, I would venture to say, I don't know the exact number, but I know each video is about 2 to 2.5 hours each. So you would just multiply that number times the number of videos. So like 2.5 hours, let's say I got 100 videos. So then it would take you that long to do it. And then you would spread it out over a 2-week time. But if I were you, I would not do it that way. That's just my personal advice. And I'm the one who recorded the videos telling you this, right? So I would, if I were you in that 2-week period, I would target the very first thing that you need to learn coming in the door, right? Understanding the basic terminology and going after the carriers, trying to get them under a dispatcher agreement. If you spend that 2 weeks doing that, when you come back up and running, you'll be ready to roll because you'll have that down like a science, you know?
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? I want you to funnel your time where it's going to be most beneficial for you, you know?
So it's 200 videos in the training to learn how to do it. Well, I'm sorry, over 200 hours.
I would say, yeah, or more. Yeah, because I got on YouTube alone, there's about 120 videos on YouTube, and some of those are some of them are the same that's in the back office.
Mm-hmm.
Training videos. Let me see. Am I sharing my screen? I am. So,
yes, you are.
So in the back office training here, there are some of the same videos that are on YouTube are back here, but there are others that are not because they're more valuable that are in the back office. Someone's trying to call me to get in. Give me 1 second. My name is Charles.
Hi, Charles. How are you?
Hello. How can I help you?
Yes, this is Ebony Wilson. I had commented on something on Facebook. And so what I wanted to know, instead of just jumping into trying to, do this on my own at this moment, I want to know, do you also hire dispatchers?
I tell you what, Ebony, I'm gonna take this number down because I'm in the middle of actually live training right now for dispatching, but that's fine. I wrote your number down. So after that, I used to have sub dispatchers under my dispatching company. I'm bringing that back up in the near future, and I'm going to start getting carriers myself and putting dispatchers, sub dispatchers under my company again. But right now, I'm just training people to start their own dispatching companies and to get carriers for themselves and to keep all of the percentage as opposed to splitting the commission percentage with me. So I'm teaching. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. It's just, at this moment, my home just burned down. So I don't have the money to really pay. And it burned down last Wednesday. So,
Oh my God, I'm sorry. I tell you what, man, I'm sorry to hear that. And you're on the recorded training too. I'm sorry you're home, but I tell you what, I'm gonna bless you right now. After this, I'm gonna bring you in for free.
Okay.
I'm gonna bring you in for free. After I get off the training, I'm gonna reach out to you, get your email, get all your information, because I'm gonna try my best to help you because right now you are in an emergency stage right now. We need to pull love on you.
See if she got some cash out, Charles.
Yeah. Oh yeah. One of the students just asked, do you have a Cash app?
I have Zelle that's linked to my bank account.
Okay, she has Zelle. Anybody? I don't deal with Zelle, but
I don't do. Oh yeah, Zelle.
I tell you what, if you create a Cash app, and this is the first time I've ever done it like this too. I've offered other people in the trainings who wants to help someone. She just had her house burned down last week. So
I didn't even know I was calling doing this. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Hey, God moves in mysterious ways.
Jesus.
God moves in mysterious ways. So by you sharing that, you're blessing us because you're giving us an opportunity to bless you. You understand?
Right.
So training is good. Training is important, but this is important also. So, and I'm sure no one on this training will mind someone trying to help you. I'm going to let you in for free. So, and then create yourself a Cash app. If you need me to help you after this training, I'll come online or call you to help you create a Cash app, and I'll send you $500 myself. So
yeah, let's bless her. Let's bless her.
yeah. So, and if anyone else, I'm not suggesting anyone else do it.
Come on, Exodus family, let's do it. Let's bless her.
I'm going to send you $5. If anyone else, I could extend it to anyone else to do it, but I'm going to send you $500 to get you started. So if anyone else want to do it, I'll have them reach out to me, and then we're going to continue on with our training. But God must have talked. God must have been talking, like, So
I'm not, I just said let me call, because I needed this training in the worst way.
That's okay. That's okay, sister. We're gonna help you. We're gonna help you. You got $5 for me. I may even send you $1,000. So you got $5. You got at least $5 for me.
Thank you, Jesus.
All right.
So much. Me and my son have been sleeping in my car until we can figure out. Thank you.
Jesus.
Yeah. That's okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm going to keep your number 334. Matter of fact, I'm going to put your name. If you don't mind, I'm going to share your name, Ebony Wilson, and your phone number in the chat line right here. And if someone else wants to reach out to you, that'll be their decision. Okay? Okay, guys, in the training?
Yeah. Awesome.
All right. So let me get back to training, but I'm not saying it like you're not important, but because you are.
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
But let me I'm going to put your information in the chat, and then we're going to go from there. We're going to bless you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome, Ebony. Wow. Let me do that right now. And see, I wasn't even going to answer the phone because I don't like answering the phone during my trainings, right, to be interrupted. But sometimes people.
Charles,
yes.
Charles, it's a reason. It's a reason for everything. You know that, right?
I agree 100%.
And you just made it evident today.
Yes, sir. I don't know. It's confirmation.
That's the reason why I joined, man. I feel your
Hey,
kindness.
you know
all the
what?
time.
This
That's
is
why
the
I joined,
perfect
brother.
platform.
Exactly.
This is the perfect platform right here.
Exactly.
So that's her name. That is her cell number. So you guys can, reach out to her. after the training, during the training, however you see fit. I'm not, telling you how to do it, but and then if someone wants to help, if I don't have time to help, if someone helps her set up the Cash App and then get me. Oh, I send it to Mo privately. Let me send it to. Oh, I send it to everybody. Okay. Mo says she'll give 100. Okay, that's fine. We're gonna help her out. She said her and her son was sleeping in the car. Jesus Christ. I need to find out where she's at. That's
cold everywhere.
That's not good. That's not good. But I'm gonna let her in for free. I mean, that's a wrap. She don't have to pay a dime. She don't got to pay a subscription. She don't got to pay nothing. She's coming, and I might mentor her one-on-one. Matter of fact, I'm not going to mentor. Right. I am going to mentor her one-on-one. So,
turn around, Jesus.
You're gonna be blessed in many ways, Charles. Only if you knew.
We all are. I don't even want all of it. I want all of us to be.
Yeah.
All of us. I am not a selfish person, brother. All of us. I want all of us to have it. All of us to eat.
But you made the stepping stone though. So we're gonna follow your lead.
That's right. That's what's up.
I appreciate that. I'm just a vessel, man. I'm just a vessel, humble vessel, man. I'm just doing it just to help. All I'm trying to do is help people for the cheapest way, because I still got to run a business, right? But the least expensive way.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Yeah. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So. Y'all got me all warm and tingly inside now.
hey, let's get back to the topic at hand. I mean,
can we get some training in, please?
But that's okay. That's okay, because to me, that's what sets us apart from all the other people. To me, that's what I felt when I watch you. It's more than just about money. It's more than just about dispatching. It's more than what spirit exactly. Your spirit attracts that. So yeah, that's what's
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, what was I? Okay. I can't even go on now. Eh? Oh, Monique was asking a question about the number of hours watching the video and being on vacation for 2 weeks. I was telling you, Monique. Monique, are you still with me?
I'm still teared up, but yeah.
I'm sorry. Oh, somebody just called. She's in Statesboro, Georgia. So someone called her. Tanya must have called her and communicated with her. Okay, yeah. So we about to send blessings. We about to shower this area. They're not gonna know what's coming. Yeah, I'm gonna hit her. Yeah, I might talk to my wife. I might send her 2,000. I'm gonna talk to my wife. But I know the minimum I'm gonna send is 500. So that's
Jesus.
So, and put her in a hotel, pay that for the week, something. Sleeping in the car, that's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. All right, I'm sorry, guys. I am so sorry.
Don't be sorry. It's okay.
Okay, so let me so the first thing I want to do is, and this could be beneficial for the new members who were in the training for a few weeks. I want to give the new members who just joined recently, like yesterday or a few days, I want to give you guys like a tour of the back office, right? And then if you guys have any questions about anything that I do in here to get clarity on that, just let me know, okay? So the first thing that you do, right? So you guys enrolled. So the first thing that you do is you go to the back office, log in and set up, okay? And for some of you, this could be a repeat, and it's like, but it's necessary for the new, because I got about 5 or 6 new people on here that haven't sent me their logins yet. So you go to the back office, log in and set up. Now there's a video in every area, every link. I have a YouTube video explaining that particular link that you are in, right? So I try to give you that. So let me log out of this part here real quick. And let's see, someone type something in here. Charles, this is a patient team. Do what you have to do to assist. Oh yeah. Yes, I will. I wrote her name down. I'm gonna reach out to her. I'm definitely gonna reach out to her after training and, get as much information about as I can. If she hasn't gotten the Cash App set up. I'll walk her through that process. And then while she's doing it, I'm going to be shifting some money over to it. And then, okay, Tanya. Okay, God bless you, Tanya. Tanya is assisting her right now with Cash App. Okay, good. So you put the app on your phone, sync your bank to it, and then give us the Cash App $, login, and then I'm gonna go ahead and start her off. And you guys got her information too. So, whoo, wow. So,
and guess what? We're not in church.
I know, right?
We didn't have to go to church.
No, because church, you know what? Church is just an edifice. It's just a building. Church is the earth. You can praise God anywhere. You don't have to be in a building to do that. You know what I mean? So it's in you. It's your heart. It's your spirit. So, oh my God. Wait a minute. We probably teaching dispatch. Why we getting to all this stuff? Tasha, you better stop this nonsense.
Sorry, I'm gonna mute myself. I'm getting back here.
So in the back office, guys, this video is recorded. This is gonna be a popular one on YouTube. I already see it coming. They're gonna be like, oh my goodness. So in the back office, for the new members, when you first join, you go to the back office login and setup area. Let me see what this chat says here. Someone said something in the chat. Because I always look at the chats as I'm going over something. Okay. So right here, back office login and setup. Then what you do is you hit the login/sign up link. And by default, the first thing you're going to see is login at the top. That's for people who already have an email and password. But if you notice, right under that, new to this site, sign up.
You get dressed before, you're not dressed.
So if you click sign up, it's going to switch from login to sign up. Now here is where new members put their email and whatever password they want there. So put the email here and put your password there. Now, most new members, they will associate the email that they sign up with for the back office, and that's fine. You could put any email you want, or you could put your business email. Maybe you signed up with a different email to keep track of your finances than you would of your business. So whatever email you enter here, though, and password, that will be what you will have back access to the back office under, all right? And you will hit sign up, and it's going to send an alert to the back office web portal. I'm the webmaster for my website. I'll get the alert. I'll approve you. You'll get a follow-up email saying that you've been approved. From that point, you will log in, and then you will go. So from back office setup all the way down, you only need to log in one time, and you'll have access to the rest of the sublinks under here. That's how that works, okay? And then the next step is the orientation. You go ahead and watch the orientation video. It's like 30 minutes. It talks about just an overview. You don't have to watch it right now. You can or at that time, you can watch it whenever. But what I want you to do, this is where you get your eBooks, your free eBooks and glossary under where it says downloads. Here's where you download the PDFs. This is an ebook. This is an ebook. This is an ebook. And in the basic terms, glossary, and the logins for the lower boards that you're going to have access to in this training portal. The logins for the lower boards are here, as well as under module 2 low boards. So they're in 2 places, just in case you missed that, okay? And then we got some other PDFs over here, a little questionnaire like your name, the date. I keep track of analytics on the website, who did what and when, just for reporting purposes. Did you watch the video? Yes or no? Did you download the PDFs? Yes or no? Any comments? And then hit submit. You know, something simple. I had to put something there because that's what the website dictated for me. But the point here in this orientation section is for the orientation video and your eBooks, your download of the eBooks and the glossary of the terms. Okay, so that's orientation. Next is business setup. And stop me if anyone has a question in any area that they need further clarification on, okay? Under business setup, we talk about things about setting up your LLCs, you know, what are the annual fees for it per state? I got a PDF that shows all 50 states and the annual fees to set up an LLC in that state. I have a business checklist. It's a spreadsheet. You click that and you download it to your local machine. I have the Secretary of State LLC filings for all states. So, you know, who do you file it with for your state? You click that. It's a Word document. You download it to your local machine. And then a business setup, just an overview, and the actual video talking about it. So that's the business setup area. And there's going to be more to this. You know, this is just a generic, but it's enough content right now. And then you get into module 1. Okay, module 1 is carrier acquisition. That's the first thing that you want to focus on as a beginner dispatcher, because you cannot dispatch unless you have a carrier to dispatch for, right? What's the whole point? So in here, we also got, you know, some lessons for your self-learning. It's nothing to be tested on, but I do have a module 1 little lesson course that talks about it, and then a little quiz that goes over it. And then we got the workflow of dispatching. So there's a lot of content for you to learn from. This is a self-paced training course with a lot of tools and resources and access to load boards. So it's like a one-stop shop for you. And you have someone that can come to you live, give you trainings live on Sundays and Wednesdays, and answer all your difficult questions. So when you hit your hot spots or your roadblocks or your obstacles, we'll be available to help you. And if I can't answer the question, I know someone who can. So this is that's what this is for. So module 1 is the first, I guess, if you will, hurdle or first obstacle in your dispatching business journey. So the first, and here's a video about, remember I said every sublink has a YouTube video explaining that particular sublink? This one is for that one, or for this one. So module 1 is carrier acquisition. The first thing you want to understand is what I should have did. I should have put the dispatcher agreement ahead of the equipment types, but that's okay. We teach, or we advise that the 3 major equipment types that you want to focus on starting out, making your job as a new business owner in dispatching easier for you, are 53-foot dry vans, 53-foot reefers, and 48 or 53-foot flatbeds. What does this mean, equipment type, right? An equipment type is the truck, the tractor, and the type of trailer that's connected to it. So this is considered a dry van trailer. It's connected to this truck. So the combination of the two makes it a dry van equipment type. You guys follow that? And it's 53 feet. This is a reefer or a refrigerated trailer. It looks similar to the dry van trailer. The only difference is this refrigeration unit on it. This it's called a TCU, temperature control unit. What that does, the freight that's being hauled inside of here, or what's called the commodity. So these are basic terms that you're going to hear. It keeps it pre-cooled to a certain temperature. So if a tractor was connected to this refrigerated trailer, this would be a reefer or refrigerated trailer equipment type, okay? And again, if you have any questions, stop me along the way and I'll break it down for you more, okay?
I have a question.
Yes, who is this?
Regular loads too, or it's only specifically for those temperature regulated loads?
On the reefer?
Can you do like loads on the reefer too?
Yes, you can do and that's the beauty of having a reefer trailer. If you have an owner operator that you're dispatching for whose equipment type is a reefer, you double your chances of getting loads for them, because he can pull reefer loads as well as dry van loads. To pull dry van loads with a reefer trailer, all you have to do is just not turn on your TCU, not turn on your refrigeration unit, your temperature control unit, and just use it as a dry van trailer. So yes. Okay. And then the flatbeds, the tractor and then the flatbed trailer that is connected to it makes it a flatbed equipment type. So when you call brokers or you call carriers, you're asking them, what equipment type do you have? They're going to understand what you're asking, because that's what it is. When you call brokers and you say, hey, I'm looking for this, I'm calling to book this load for this flatbed equipment type, 48 feet, going from Georgia to Virginia, is that load still available? And then, you continue on in that dialogue with the broker to book the load. So those are the terms, that's the terminology. So, but even before understanding, well, I guess you have to understand the equipment types to know which ones to go after before you do the dispatcher agreement. So, and the reason why I always stress, now I'm not limiting these 3 equipment types for your dispatching business. All I'm saying is make your life easier starting out by going after the equipment types that you can find loads for quicker. You can still go after box trucks, sprinter vans, cargo vans, and what's called hot shots. Hot shots are the dually pickup trucks with the up to 40-foot trailers attached to them, or 35-foot trailers with the 5-foot dovetail ramps. So you can go after those too. As a new dispatcher, you will have more of a challenge to get loads for them than you would for these 3 major equipment types. Thus, the reason why I stress going after the 3 major equipment types first. Because if you look on the load board, matter of fact, let's look at the load board right now. And for you new members, the purpose of a load board is where brokers post their loads for sale and carriers look for those loads to bid on, or to win, or to book those loads, okay? So I'll give you a perfect example. And this is one of the load boards that members in this training have access to, okay? You guys have access to 1, 2, 3 load board. It's one of the better ones on here. So I'm going to find loads. I'm going to look for loads for the 3 major equipment types. Someone give me an origin where a load could be picked up from.
Atlanta.
Okay, so the origin, Atlanta, the origin can either be picked up from a city specifically, city, state, or you can do multiple states or single states. You can select one state or multiple states to find loads if you select the map tab. Otherwise, you select just a specific. And the origin where you're picking the load up in section B, in section A, origin is always going to be the shipper. You always pick a load up from a shipper facility. Another name for the shipper is the consignor, okay? CONSIGNOR. Okay, you will see this on carrier packets and rate confirmations. That's why I'm saying the different names, so you will know what to expect. So there won't be any surprises, okay? So Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm gonna put the 3 major equipment types. And under flatbed, I'm going to hit more and say none, and then just do flatbed, because flatbeds have varying categories of the flatbed type. So I'm just going to say a regular flatbed in that, and then of course reefers and vans. All right. And I'm going to put the destination. You could put a destination to a specific city, to one state or multiple states, or anywhere within the U.S. and Canada. So I'm going to say anywhere within the U.S. Coming out of Atlanta, within 100, I'm gonna say 100-mile radius or deadhead miles. Radius and deadhead miles, what that means is if there's a shipper in Atlanta or within 100-mile radius that I can drive my truck to empty to pick up a load, that's what that means. So deadhead means how far deadhead miles means how many miles you can drive empty prior to picking up a load. Most drivers will say 100 miles or less. Some might say 150 or even 200, if the load is paying enough. If the load pays enough and it's worth that extra 100 or extra 50 miles, then they will go. So I'm gonna leave everything else blank by default and then hit search. It's gonna be a lot of loads. 1,097 loads coming out of Atlanta, going anywhere for those 3 major equipment types. So you see how easy it is to find loads for them? That's why I say focus on the 3 major types. So let's do this. Let's say you want to just do it for dry vans, right? We can go back and edit it. So remember that number, 1097, 1097 for all 3. Let's just select flatbeds and redo it. So it's 422 for just flatbeds. So if you say, I just want to target flatbeds alone, coming out of Atlanta, because I know a friend of mine who has a flatbed, well, there you go. You got 422 loads, page 1 of 5, 422 loads, flatbeds. And in 1, 2, 3 load board, what I do is to see the numbers from highest to lowest. You see you got a rate check and an offer. So the rate check and the offer, I click offer, and now I get highest rates to lowest rates that are posted. Some rates are not posted, others are. Okay, so now you're looking to see. So do any of these loads look attractive to you guys? Like, as far as the numbers look high, but you got to keep in mind as a dispatcher, just because that number is high doesn't necessarily mean that the cents per mile is good and where it's going is good. So you know what I'm saying? You have to factor those things in. You might see a high number, 3,200, that's a lot of money. But then you're saying, well, it's going 1,400 miles, it's 48,000 pounds, and it's going to an area that I may not be able to find anything out of. It's going to Denver, Colorado. So you're going to hit the Rocky Mountains, you see? So as a dispatcher, these are the things that you have to factor in. You got to be like, well, I don't want to send my carrier with 48,000 pounds, 1,400, almost 1,500 miles to an area where it's going to be hard for him to get out of, or him or her, because we got a lot of female drivers now too. You see, so that's some of the things to consider as a dispatcher, right? So we got some other, here's one right here. Here's a $2,100 load. It's going only 772 miles. It's coming out of Alabama, which is 77 miles from Atlanta, and it's going to Indiana, which is an area of the country that it has a lot of inbound and outbound freight. In other words, it's freight heavy, the Midwest. So that's a good load potentially, right? So if you click that, $2.72 a mile, because it's only 772 miles and it's paying $2,100. Does that seem like a decent load for a flatbed?
Yeah.
Yep. Now let's continue on with this theme here. So let's do some load board training here a little bit. So with dispatching companies, you newer members, you could either charge a flat rate per week for your services to your carrier that you have under a dispatcher agreement, or you can charge a percentage per load. So if you charge a percentage per load that you book, the range of percentages is between 5 and 10%. Okay, so whatever your business model is, say you find more loads for one carrier than you do for another, so it may justify you doing a flat rate for the one that you find less loads for, and it may justify you doing a percentage range for the one you find more loads for. You follow what I'm saying? Because you don't want to shortchange yourself. Go ahead, Natasha had a question. Oh, okay. All right, you guys are still with me on this one? Okay, so let's say, for example.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so how do you decide which one to choose though? Like, how do you pick if you're gonna do the 500 flat fee or if you're gonna do a certain percentage? Very good question. And this is one of the new members. This is John, correct? Yes.
Okay, so let's say you got 2 carriers under a dispatch agreement for you just started your dispatching business and you got 2 carriers under a dispatch agreement. And let's say that starting out, you started out with a percentage range. So for new carriers, it's between 5 and 10%. I always tell the newer carriers the newer dispatching companies do about 5 to 7% starting out. You don't want to charge 8 to 10% as a new dispatching company and you don't have that much experience yet. So, and you want to be fair to your carriers, right? So let's say you do 7%. So now with the 2 carriers, let's say both of them are flatbed equipment types, okay? let's say one of those carriers you find 1 load per week, and the other one you find about 4 loads per week, right? So now you see where I'm going now?
Okay.
So
right. Yep,
the one that you find 1 load per week, you're probably justified in charging them a flat rate because you're guaranteed that money, irregardless of how many loads you find. You're charging them, and again, that flat rate range per week is between $250 and $500. Okay, so let's say you meet them in the middle, like $375. You charge $375 a week or $350 a week to find loads for them, irregardless of how many loads you find. You just so happen to find them 1 per week, they're gonna give you $350. The one that you found 4 loads that week, you're kind of doing yourself a disservice if you charge a flat rate of $350. You'd rather charge a percentage, right? Because the more loads you find, if you do a percentage rate, that could be like almost $1,000, depending on what your percentage range is and how much the load is paying, things like that. So your business model can be structured in that way. The less loads you find per week, but it has to start off with something, right? You start off with a percentage, right? To make yourself be fair to yourself and your carrier, let's say 7%. But then you notice that you are in the 2 weeks or a month's time, you average 1 load a week with the carrier number 1, and you average 4 loads a week with carrier number 2. So now you say, well, let me change my business philosophy, my business model. The ones I find less loads, I'm going to do a flat rate. And the ones I find more loads, I'm going to do a percentage because I want to make money. I want to average this out as a business owner, right?
Right.
So that's the philosophy that you want to have in that regard.
Do you ever get pushback from carriers when you decide a rate, or basically that's why you negotiate with them, like how you gonna do it?
Right. But you don't get a pushback. You only get a pushback when you like get up there like around 10%, 8, 9, 10%, like 10%. Okay. You might get a carrier. I had a case. I'm gonna give you a scenario. Well, it's actually happened a few years ago. Carriers I was like, I do 10%. 10%. Oh my God, that's too much, right? So what I did is I explained to them that okay, the 10% I'm charging under dispatch agreement, it's literally not coming from you. I'm going to put my 10% on top of the rate that I re-quote to the broker or negotiate to the broker. Okay, and I'm gonna give you an example of what I mean. Let's piggyback off of this load that we have on the screen. This load right here going from Lynette, Alabama to Elkhart, Indiana. So it's 2,100 right now that the broker is quoting. So when I call this broker, I'm gonna say, hey, Mr. Broker, hey, Sureway, dispatch at Sureway Transportation, right? I'm calling about this, and I'm the dispatcher for my carrier, a flatbed carrier. Let's say you, John, you're my carrier. And I say, yeah, I'm calling about this flatbed load picking up on the 26th, which is what, tomorrow, on Monday, going from Alabama, Lynette, Alabama, going to Elkhart, Indiana. Is that load still available? Right? That's the first thing when you call a broker. That's one of the first sentences you want to get out to the broker. Why? Because sometimes brokers leave posted loads on the load boards even after those loads have been covered or booked. They'll still leave them up there. They forget to take them down or for whatever reason, right? So one of the first, and I've learned this over time and in experience. So you're looking at a load that's looking real enticing to you, right? And you think you're going to get the load, and then you call that broker, and he said, "Oh man, that load is gone." I said, "Well, why is it still up here?" That was my next question to the broker. Why are you guys still keeping these loads up here, man? Take this stuff down. That way, people won't keep calling you. You know what I'm saying? So
exactly.
So that's why I put that phrase in the beginning. Hey, Mr. Broker, dispatch at Sureway Transportation. I'm calling about this Lynette, Alabama flatbed load going to Indiana, Elkhart. Is that load still available? Oh yeah, let me check and see. By the way, what's your MC? So this is the dialogue. What's your MC? What they're asking you for is the motor carrier number of your carrier that you have under a dispatcher agreement. So each owner-operator, independent owner-operator, truck driver, carrier, they have a DOT number and a MC number. The DOT number is a Department of Transportation number, and an MC number is a motor carrier number, which are issued by the FMCSA, which is the Federal Motor Carriers Safety Administration, and the DOT, Department of Transportation. These numbers uniquely identify that particular trucking company, okay, or owner operator. So every trucking company out here, they all have unique numbers. I'm sure at some point in time, you've seen these numbers on the side of the doors of all the trucks, the big tractor trailers out here. So it is a requirement by law for them to have it. It has to be at least so many inches wide, so many inches long, things like that, to be within compliance. So, but these are just little things that. So you give them the MC, you give the broker the MC number of your carrier. They're going to look in their system to see if whether or not that carrier is set up with that brokerage already, if they're already set up. So they're going to come back with a response. They're going to tell you one of two things. They're either going to say your carrier is set up with them or they are not set up with them. If they are not set up with them, the broker's going to say, hey, you're not set up with us, but that's not a problem. Who do I send the carrier packet to? Carrier packet, setup packet, onboarding, whatever term they mention to you, it all means the same thing, okay? Of course, as a dispatcher, you will send it, you will have the broker send that to your email, because as the dispatcher, you are the middle person between your carrier and booking that load with the broker. You're the middleman in that relationship. Anthony just asked a question. There is no guarantee that you as a dispatcher will be able to renegotiate the rate with the broker. And you're absolutely right. There is no guarantee, but shoot your shot, because some brokers have wiggle room for negotiations. And when in the conversation with the broker, they're going to ask you, what are you looking for? So your next statement is say, okay, well, this is the, I see you have a posted rate, but is that negotiable? He said, yeah, what are you looking for? And then you give them the number that you came up with, which I'm going to show you in the example. Monique raised her hand. Yes, Monique.
So let's say you have a truck driver and he wants to be off certain days during the week. Like some drivers want to be home on the weekends. What days pay the most money so you can have him off on days where the rates are lower? Like, for example, if Monday and Tuesday are lower, then they can be his off days, or are they all pretty much the same?
That's an open-ended question, and it's a variable question because it depends on the country. Not the country, but it depends on the area of where that carrier is located, and it depends on the equipment type. So certain states and certain zones, certain areas pay more than others on whatever day of the week. The weekends pay more, which is why I'm so surprised that most carriers want to be off on the weekends, because freight needs to get moved over the weekends just as much as they do during the week. And shippers and brokers actually pay more to get it moved over the weekends, but most carriers are off on the weekends. Most brokers are closed on the weekends too. You're gonna find some brokers that are open where you can negotiate even better. But it depends on the equipment type, what area of the country it's going. Like the Southeast pays well, the Midwest pays well, and the Southwest, particularly the state of Texas, pay well, irregardless of the three major equipment types. You can get good paying freight out of in and out of those areas, okay? So let me bring up a map and show you my screen so I can give you an idea of what that means. Pamela says, what's the best time to call carriers? During the week, weekdays, Monday through Friday, to call carriers, in my experience, I would call 7 a.m. to about 8:30 a.m., whatever time zone you're in. I'm in the Eastern Standard Time zone. So if you're in Eastern Standard Time and you got a carrier that you're trying to reach in California, you're not going to call them 7 to 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, because you're calling them at 4:30 in the morning. It's a 3-hour time difference. So you have to consider the time zone of the carrier that you're trying to call. So that's why I said 7 to 8:30 or 6 to 8:30 in that AM in whatever time zone you're in during the week, Monday through Friday. And then around the evening time, it will be around 5 to about, I guess, 7, whatever time, PM, whatever time zone that you are in Monday through Friday. Why 5 to 7? Is because most carriers are either getting ready to shut down, park their trucks, do their 10-hour resets. So they're winding down. So that's a good time to try to catch them. They're getting ready to like just relax in their cabs. You know, they're sleepers. Look at TV, look at loads, so they can be reached. They might be sitting at a loading dock, resting. So yeah. Yes, I do. Whoever U3 Wham is, I do have a glossary for these trucking terms. Yes. So
That's Unisha.
Is who?
Unisha.
Oh, Unisha. Okay, how you doing? So
Good.
Unisha, I do have a. I don't know if you were here when I went over when I navigated the back office, but in orientation, right? So when you sign up to get your back office access under orientation, under the downloads, you have the eBooks, and then you have basic terms right here. Okay, it's a PDF of basic terms. You know, what is a dispatcher, dispatch agreement, the carriers, trucks, all the different terms about the load boards, all the different terms you're going to run across from a beginner's standpoint. Okay, so that's in the back office there. All right. So remember I said consignee is the receiver, consignor is the shipper, and all this other stuff. So, so there's a lot of basic terms here, and then there's other resources that you can refer to. So this website is like a smorgasbord of resources that you can reference to help you along your path of being a freight dispatcher. And that's the whole goal of it. And I'm adding to and taking it from as we see fit. Okay, Kalisha said, where is that located again? So under orientation section, once you watch the orientation video, this is where you download the eBooks, the 3 eBooks. One ebook is called How Much Money You Need to Move Your Truck. Level 2, which goes into detail about the carrier packets and the rate confirmations. And then Dispatcher 101, which is a general overview ebook. Here's the basic terms. And here also is the load board logins under orientation, as well as module 2, which is load boards, also has load board logins. They're the same area, okay? Okay, so she set up PayPal. So she didn't do, Tanya said she set up PayPal. She didn't do a Cash App. So Ebony Wilson, the young lady that we were offering to help, she has a PayPal for you guys to see. N-E-N, Nenny Logan. I'm writing it down so I know, because I know I'll forget. I got to write stuff down. So Tanya, she didn't do the Cash App. Was she not able to do Cash App? I guess it was easier for her to do PayPal. Okay, Monique says, should we book rates daily for our carriers or a week out? Well,
I meant loads, not rates.
Right, loads. So as a dispatcher, you want to keep your carriers running. So while, let's say you book a load today, let's go back to our example, and I'm going to bring in the percentage concept to add on top of it and answer that question too. So let me answer that question first. So yeah, you should book your rates. You should book your loads for however long your carrier expressed they want to be out. So in the carrier profile. So let's say your carrier profile your carrier's profile said that he wanted to run 2 weeks out at a time or 3 weeks out at a time and be home a week. So then you book loads accordingly. You know, he said, I only want to run in the Southeast, Southwest, and Midwestern states for 3 weeks out, and then I want to be home a week and then go out again 3 weeks. So out of a month, he wants to run 3 weeks and be home a week. So then you book loads accordingly, right? So you
is there a give and take in there?
There is a give and take, because you may have a load that may spill over into his week going home, but he still wants to finish that load because it pays so well. It may send him home on a Tuesday instead of a Monday, which is fine.
No, I mean, I'm sorry, like in a sense of like, say you book him a load to pick up on a Monday, and is there a time frame that he has to pick up that load? Like, does he have to pick it up on Monday? Like, say he's running late or whatever, and it ends up being Tuesday. Does a carrier, I mean, does a shipper have a certain time frame that they have to pick these loads up?
Yes. So you have certain loads with shippers, whatever they posted it for to be picked up on, that's when they expect it to be picked up on. The type of pickups vary. You may have a pickup that's a first come, first serve. You may have a pickup that's an appointed time, things like that. So if you book a load with a broker to pick that load up from the shipper, then you have to honor that load. Now, if for any reason that your carrier is running late or anything like that, your carrier needs to tell you as a dispatcher, and you communicate that to the broker so that the broker can get in front of that potential situation and let the shipper know, hey, my guy's carrier is running a little late. Can you guys hold off on the warehouse guys so we can get him loaded? Or his truck broke down. He is getting changed. He won't be there till tomorrow. It may have been a late pickup, like in the evening, but his truck broke down. It has to be towed to a repair station to get fixed in the morning. Can you guys hold that load for the next day AM? So if the shipper is aware of that, then the broker is making provisions with the shipper so that they can make plans to get that load still picked up. It's just going to be a little late. So it's all about communication. It's all about communication.
Right. I got you.
Yeah, from the dispatcher to the broker, or from the dispatcher and the carrier to the broker, and then the broker communicates with their customers who are the shippers. So as long as that communication line is maintained, then everything works well. Even in bad situations, let's say something that the carrier couldn't handle, like let's say a car did a pop and squat. You know, when I was driving, cars used to pull in front of tractor trailers like we was feathers and just slow down. And I'm hauling 80,000 pounds, 80,000 pound vehicle total, counting the weight of the truck empty and what's on the truck. So it's going to take me at least a quarter to a half a mile to come to a complete stop. So if you pull in front of me with a Nissan Datsun or a little small Ford Escort, I'm going to run you over. I can't stop this truck. I mean, I'm going to run you over for a quarter mile or to a half mile. That's how long it's going to take me to slow down. So most cars, when they pull in front of tractor trailers, when I'm out here driving now and I see that, I'm like, man, you guys don't realize that. And I've seen trucks run over cars, literally. And cars are like sardines once they run over them. So these drivers out here think that these trucks are not dangerous. They are really dangerous. I'm sure you've seen on TVs where tractor trailers are on the side of the road on their side, or cars are under trucks in accidents. That stuff is not a joke. So it's just that you have to be careful about that too. But yes, the appointed times, they have to be honored. But if they are not honored, if there are special circumstances that come up, then your carrier needs to communicate that with you or to the broker directly in order for the broker to make steps to, you know, get in front of that situation. Okay.
Right. Gotcha.
Charles, I had a question. In regards to booking out the loads for our carriers, we got to factor in or guesstimate the layover from their drop off to their next pickup. Is there like a formula or calculations, or should we just give them like a 12 to 14 hour window before we book the next load?
There is the only closest guesstimation is, so let's say we got this load right here. And I'm going to get to the numbers with this too, as far as putting our number on top. But as far as Anthony's question, typically when you get to a receiver or a shipper to load up with a van or a reefer trailer, you're going to dock at the loading dock, and it's going to take anywhere between, on average, 1 to 3 hours to get that truck loaded or unloaded, depending on the size of the load, whether it's a full load or a partial, right? So you give that to them. Anything after that is detention. I can't expect a truck to be sitting at a loading dock for like 5-6 hours, but it does happen. So you factor in at least 2 to 3, maybe even 4 hours being at a loading dock, and then you factor drive time getting from that shipper to the receiver, and then you factor in another 2 to 3 hours getting offloaded. So all that stuff has to be factored in, right? So if you pick up a load, that's why when brokers book loads, they say, okay, this load picks up on Monday, it's 772 miles. You figure they want that to be there by Wednesday. So it's going to take a day and a half. So Wednesday is 2 days. It's going to take a day and a half to dry the load. but they're factoring that extra half a day to give you enough time to get loaded at the shipper and unloaded at the receiver. That's why they add that extra half a day to a day in its time frame, because they're considering all of that. They're considering detention time, layover time, all that. That's why they give it an extra day or an extra half a day, because they factor all that stuff in, okay?
So Charles, let's say it takes 2 days to get the truck fixed, and you book them out for 10 or 15 days. Doesn't that throw off their whole schedule by missing those 2 days?
Repeat your question again. I didn't hear the first part of your question.
Okay, so I was saying, let's say the driver had some mechanical issues, and they had to go to a shop, and the truck sat in the shop for 2 days to get fixed. Now, if you book them out for 10 or 15 days, doesn't that throw their whole schedule off?
Right, it does. Now, did you know, now was this prior to you booking the load or after the load, that particular load was booked, you had a mechanical issue with the truck and then it had to go to the shop? So I need to know that in order to help answer that question.
No, like let's say you say, okay, here are your loads for the next 15 days. 3 days in, the truck breaks down and it's in the shop for 2 days. I booked him out so far. That's why I was asking about booking.
Right. So I don't recommend booking like that. I recommend booking at least 1 to 2 loads out to give yourself enough room for stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're making promises for 7 days out and you're still under this load, anything can happen. That's a good scenario. Anything can happen because now you got to go back and cancel loads with the brokers. It's going to make you look bad. They're going to ding your, they're going to try to ding your carrier, put them on the blacklist. So when you're booking loads, I would say book that load and then the next load after that. And then once you get that load, book the next load after that. I wouldn't try to book 2 or 3 loads too far ahead because of special situations like what you just mentioned, because, you know, unexpected things do happen. So what I used to do is while my carrier was under their current load, I would book their next load and that's it. So when they delivered that load, their next load was waiting for them. So when they picked that next load up, I would book the next load. I wouldn't go too far out, plus the fact that their days are passing in that process. So let's say I had the first load he picked up. That load took 2 days to deliver. I'm working on his next load. It's going to take another 2 days. That's almost a week right there. So I got him covered for the week. He rests over the weekend, so that gives me time to prepare for him the following week. I don't want to go too far out because things happen. You see what I'm saying? So each load could take at least a day or 2 days. You book 2 or 3 loads, that's 6 days right there. You do that twice, that's 2 weeks right there.
How do you track the drivers? Is there GPS tracking?
Yes, the brokers mainly are the ones who track drivers. One of the most popular tracking softwares is called MacroPoint. Let me show you what that looks like. You can track your driver if you want to, but some brokers require it as part of being under that load because their customers require it, who are the shippers.
Right.
While carriers are under a load, shippers want to know what's going on with their loads. And brokers, that's the broker's job. They do what's called check calls. And they call you every so often, right? They'll call you, right. They'll either tell the dispatcher to let them know when the carrier gets to the shipper, and then they'll say, okay, I got that information. I called them. Then they'll let the customer know that the carrier's at the shipper. They got there at 1400. They're being loaded now. They're going to be leaving in the next hour or 2. And the shipper's satisfied. Then they'll do a check call while the carrier may be halfway in the route or what they estimate to be halfway. That's why they ask on the rate confirmation all the time for the driver of that truck's first and last name, cell number, and truck and trailer number, because they want to monitor what's going on. So here is a app. Here's an app, a MacroPoint app for truckers. And most truckers have different GPS apps on their trucks. And most brokers require it while they're under the load. Some carriers will keep it on the trucks because they know that most brokers require it, so they'll just keep the app installed on the phone. And some carriers, they'll uninstall it and reinstall it, but you might as well keep it there if most of the brokers require it. then there's no point in uninstalling it. You might as well keep it installed on your phone, or just turn your locator on, you know. Right. But macro point, they can sync with that. Yes, our backhaul loads negotiable. Yeah, every load is negotiable. Every load, whether it's a line haul or a backhaul load. Now, how much negotiating, you may get more negotiation out of a line haul load. That's a line haul load is the original load being picked up from a shipper and delivered to the receiver. The backhaul may be the load that you may get a load from that receiver coming back to where you picked up the original load from, or coming from where you delivered to somewhere else. Okay, that's a backhaul. And most people don't even use the word backhaul. They'll just say another load, another line haul load, because it's going somewhere else. A true backhaul load is it's a round trip. So in this example, Lynette, Alabama to Elkhart, Indiana, and Elkhart, Indiana back to Lynette. That's a true backhaul because you're going back to where you picked up from. That's a true backhaul. So anything else would be another line haul load going somewhere else. Okay. So let's swing back to John's example with the percentages. So let's say we got this load. This is how we add our percentage in on top of the rate, and then we requote that to the broker in negotiations. So this load was 2,100, and let's say we charged 7%. So what's 7% of 2,100? So you multiply that, right? 2,100 times 7. 147, right? So now you take 2,100 and you add that on top, plus 147, and always round up, right? So I'm going to say what? 2,250, 2,300. Some people might get greedy and say 2,500. Now, if you say 2,500, you might lose that. The broker might say, no, we can't do 25. We might be able to do
23.
Yeah, 23, even 24. You could go to 25, go up high. So here's the art of negotiation. Go up high and let the broker come down low to the point that you're satisfied. So if you say, we can do it for 25, because it's 21 right now. The broker may have like 4,000 in this load. They're trying to make a lot of money off of it. But you say 25, the broker say, I can't do 25, I can do 24. So if he says 24, you're still winning. You're still winning, right? So throw a high number out there just to see where the broker's head is at. Test them out, because they're definitely going to test you always, because they're always trying to get over on making money off of every load they have, right? So this is what I mean when I talk to that carrier about getting them under a dispatch agreement for 10%. I said I put my 10% on top of that. So 10% of 2,100 was 210. So that would be what? 2310. So I would have said 2,500 in that example. So, but let's say the broker said, okay, we can't do 25. It's 2,100 firm. Someone asked a question earlier about can a load not be negotiable? The only way a load cannot be negotiable if the broker says that we are firm on this load. We can't go. We have no wiggle room. So then now you are at a crossroads in that example, because now you got to go back to your carrier and say, hey man, they're only going to give 2,100. That's a good load. It's 272 a mile. It's decent, but you got to remember my percentage is 7%. So it's 21 minus that 147. So now what do you do in that situation? You say, okay, what's 2,100 minus 147? Because the broker was firm, they wasn't budging on the numbers. So now that's 1,953, that's 1,953. Now if you divide that by the loaded miles, 772, that's $2.53 a mile. That's still a decent rate for a flatbed. It's just not 272. What percentage of loads are firm? I'm not sure. It's a case-by-case basis. It's a broker-by-broker basis. In your negotiations, when you call a broker, I can't give you an answer to that because it's a case-by-case basis. Some brokers have wiggle room, others do not. Some of the newer brokers will probably have more wiggle room because they are trying to sell those loads and they're trying to impress their customers who are the shippers. Some of the more larger brokers and the more experienced brokers, they can be firm because they're large, they're big, they have enough leverage to say, I'm firm on this rate, and they don't care if you trying to negotiate. So that's how it works sometimes. The newer brokers who just got their broker authority, who just got a shipper under contract with them, they're trying to impress their customers so they can give them more loads. So they got to be able to negotiate and have wiggle room in the numbers in order to move that load and improve and impress their customer, who are the shippers. So it's a numbers game. Okay.
Charles, I had a question.
Yes, sir.
In regards to the broker being a certificate holder, has there ever been an issue where a load got held up because you're trying to contact someone to add that broker to the certificate holder when it comes to the insurance or whatever? Is there a delay in that? If you can't reach someone, how did that work?
Usually when you, who is that? Who's that? Tony, Anthony?
Anthony? Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so when you call a broker on a load and the broker, and you guys agree to the number, let's say they agreed to 2,100, everything was good, or even the 2,500, whatever that number was, everybody was happy. The broker sent you the carrier packet to get set up because you wasn't set up, your carrier was not set up with that brokerage. So you filled that out, sent it in, and when the broker said, okay, when you send back the other documents that I need to get you set up, which is the MC authority, the W-9, and the certificate of insurance. On the certificate of insurance, you need to make me, the brokerage, in this example, Sureway Transportation, a certificate holder. So this is what they mean. If you go to forms and documents, we have what they look like, the certificate of insurance, and you will see all the resources. Again, you have everything you need in the back office, guys. I mean, literally. So here's a certificate holder, a certificate of insurance. So what Anthony just asked, some brokers are asked to be made a certificate holder on the certificate of insurance. So what you need to do as your carrier, but your carrier will have you do it, because what's the point of you being a dispatcher if this is not one of the services that you're going to provide? You will call the agent, the insurance agent on the policy of that certificate of insurance for your carrier. Let's say Progressive, right? So the producer is Progressive, the insurance is the insured is the trucking company, ABC Trucking, you're a carrier. You'll say, hey, Mr. Insurance agent for Progressive, I'm calling, I need a new certificate of insurance listing the following brokerage as the certificate holder, right? So the agent's gonna say, okay, what's the policy number? Because agents get calls, commercial insurance agents get calls from a lot of people, right? So they're doing their job, so don't get offended when they ask you this, what's the policy number? Number one, they're checking to see if that policy number matches one of their customers. And then number two, sometimes they'll even call the contact number on that policy for that trucking company to verify. They'll say, let me put you on hold for a second. And then they're gonna call the number on the policy. Hey, ABC Trucking, I got someone calling me asking for a certificate of insurance with a certificate holder on it. And the carrier's gonna say, yeah, that's Anthony, he's my dispatcher, go ahead and do it. Okay, click, thank you. And then they'll take you off hold. Okay, give me the broker, the name of the brokerage, the street address, city, state, and zip. And they're gonna put that data right here in this box that says certificate holder. And then the insurance agent's gonna say, okay, who do I send that to? As a dispatcher, you want them to do it this way. You could do it this way. You could have them send it to you directly and then you send it to the brokerage. But wouldn't it look more professional if a certificate holder, certificate of insurance, gets sent directly to the brokerage from the insurance company with you as the dispatcher CC'd in that email, right? It'll look more professional that a broker receives a certificate of insurance with them being a certificate holder directly from the insurance company. So you would tell the agent, yeah, send it to this broker's email, but CC me a copy of it. Now you're asking, what happens if that gets delayed? Would that hold up the load, right? Sometimes brokers will put a hold on that load for you while you are trying to figure out why it's taking so long for the agent to get that certificate of insurance that certificate holder over to you. they'll hold it for a period of time, like 30 minutes, an hour at the most. Otherwise, they're going to take it off hold, put it back on the load board, and then someone else could potentially get that load.
I guess that's the point I was trying to make, because if you're unable to get in contact with that agent, that's going to hold up that load for that particular carrier. So it's going to either be a hit or miss with that, correct?
Right. So that's why you either call that agent or you email that agent, you know, smoke signals or something, pigeons, something, because, you know, sometimes you may have hit that agent while they was at lunch, right? They may have went to lunch for the day. So sometimes the agents will have their office cell number and their personal cell on the policy, or they may, you know, you hit their emails and they may look at their phone and see the email, their work email on their phone, and they'll get with you. And they'll say, oh man, I'm sorry, let me get back to the office. And then you let the broker know, hey, I got the agent, he was at lunch, he or she was at lunch, but they're on their way back now, 5 minutes, that certificate holder is on its way. And then the broker say, okay, we're good. But yeah, you got to do, you know, stuff like that. Okay. Any other questions?
If nobody got a question, I got another question.
Okay.
Now when we looking up the load on the load board and we're looking at the miles that's stated, do we as dispatchers make the determination of the practical miles, or do we got to do a little bit more research to confirm the origin and destination, because it might be 30 to 50 miles off, so we can factor in that rate? Is there like a formula for that, or should we just basically go off what the load board says, or do we do a little bit more research?
You can do either a zip to zip lookup or a Google city to city, but what I used to do is if it's 50 miles or less deadhead, I would not add it into the loaded miles and then redo my cents per mile. Otherwise, I would. So for example, in this example, that's more than 50 miles. So I would add the 77 miles to the loaded miles. So 77, because you got to still, your carrier has to drive 77 miles and he's burning fuel while doing that, right? So 77, I got my calculator here, 77 miles deadhead plus the loaded miles that this load is going to run from Alabama to Indiana, 772. So 777 plus 772 is 849. So that's the true miles that your carrier is actually burning fuel under this load, right?
Well, no, that's not what I was referring to. When you look at the load board and it says like 500 practical miles.
Oh,
and
okay.
I've seen a couple.
I see what you're saying. So,
and you went to a couple of your videos and you Googled like the destination and just say it was 540 or 550. Which one do we factor in? The Google?
Well, if you are in the conversation with the broker, you ask them for the zip codes for the pickup and the destination, the delivery. And then you do a Google zip to zip lookup for the true miles. And that's what you go off of.
Okay.
Yep. Unisha said, can someone please send Ebony's PayPal? I'll scroll up, Unisha. Her PayPal is, I'll do it right here. I'm gonna copy it right here and repaste it. There it is right there. Okay. And then the Macro Point website, Kanisha just asked for that one. So that one's here. You copy and paste that one, the Macro Point. That's the Macro Point. All right. So are there any, so for the new members, I don't want to get too far ahead as far as terminology and overwhelming you guys. What are some website navigation questions or some basic questions that you may have as new members who just enrolled? Because I want to make sure that, is there an Android version of Macro Point? Let me see, I can look up on my phone right now because I have an Android. So go to the Play Store and type in Macro Point. Macro Point. Yeah, Macro Point. Yeah, macro point for truck drivers. Yeah, it's an Android version. I got an Android right here. So just go to your Play Store and type it in, and then go ahead and then have your carriers. Yeah, you can do that, but I'm just saying if your carrier has an Android, then yes, you can do that. Yep. The best load board to see incoming and outgoing freight. Right here, 1, 2, 3 load board, Anthony. So let's get out of the load board area. Let's go to our dashboard and minimize this, and then go to load availability. 1, 2, 3 load board. Okay. And then the inbound, intrastate, and outbound number of loads across at least the 3 major equipment types for and it's in alphabetical order based off of the states, right? So and remember what I was saying, that the areas of the country that has the best, like Midwest, Southeast, and Southwest, the state of Texas, you can pretty much target those areas and then look at the inbound and outbound freight for those areas and then decide. So let me open up the map for you real quick and share that on my screen to give you an idea of what I'm talking about as far as the region. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm opening up maps and it's a JPEG. Matter of fact, can I send that to you guys? Let me see if I can send this map. Let me share this real quick and see if I can send this JPEG. So can you guys see the screen, the maps? I'm gonna bring it up. I expanded it a little bit, opened it up, but let me see if I can actually put that file across in the chat to see if you guys can get it. 1 second, because it's a small file, so it should be able to, I'm hoping.
Yeah, that's it.
You guys get it?
Yep.
Okay, so good. So now what you're seeing is on the screen, so the Midwestern states are states that are freight heavy. And what I mean by freight heavy, meaning that inbound and outbound freight comes and goes in those states: Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, Kentucky, Illinois. So anything Midwest, right? That's the Midwest state. And then the Southeast region, and this is across the 3 major equipment types. We'll keep that in mind: dry vans, flatbeds, and reefers. So if you get an equipment type carrier of one of those 3, you'll have a good chance of finding them freight in these areas, inbound and outbound. Same thing holds true for the Southeastern area, with the exception of Florida, because Florida sucks, right? You can go into Florida, but it's hard to get freight out of it, right? It's like the Roach Motel. You can check in, but you can't check out. So, so the Southeast, like North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, Louisiana. And then the Southwest, only Texas, right? Maybe New Mexico because it's close. So, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, Khaleesi's from Florida. Oops. Okay, I'll say this.
Less opportunities.
Northern Florida. Let's say Tallahassee, Jacksonville. But if you pass Orlando, you out back. You are out back. If you pass Orlando, if you go past Tampa, if you're in Miami, you might as well jump in the lake, jump in the ocean, because you're not coming back. You might as well go you might as well go holler at the Bermuda Triangle, right? So yeah, but so if you go to Tallahassee, maybe the Panhandle, you might be in the Panhandle area, you might get something out there. So, but Pamela said, "Careful, I gotta." I'm stepping on some toes. I'm in Virginia, so I'm over here. I'm right here, Virginia Beach, so I'm right there. But if you are in the Midwestern states, Texas, Georgia area, Southeast area, Northern Florida, I'll say Northern Florida. Okay, Tanya got my back. All right, appreciate it. So let's go back to the load board, and let me show let me show, oh, I got the wrong one. That's the dispatcher trading one. Let me go back to the load board. Let me share my screen because I'm on the maps right now. So let me share the screen with the load board. Okay. So here we go. So you guys have the map. So we know the freight heavy states. So you can set up like a triangular coordinated plotted thing on your map and just send your drivers, irregardless of the equipment type, to either Midwest, Southeast, Southwest, back and forth, right? And this plot. So look at those states. Let's go to, let's say Georgia. We say Georgia a lot, right? So let's say Georgia. Georgia is one of those freight heavy states. So Georgia, inbound and outbound. Inbound loads coming into Georgia, there's like 1,200, almost 1,300 loads. There's 1,300 loads going out of Georgia. So then you can say, okay, I'm gonna keep Georgia in mind. And then let's say Texas. So I can send my carrier over to Texas from Georgia, and then from Texas over to a Midwestern state, right?
Oh, I know, looks good too.
Yeah, so here's Texas. So inbound, there's almost 1,600 loads coming out of Texas and almost 3,000 loads going into Texas. So you know Texas is popular going in. So you can send somebody from Georgia over to Texas and then Texas out to one of the Midwestern states. Let's say Ohio, right? So Ohio, inbound 1,400. So there's your triangle. Again, irregardless of the equipment type, drive-in, flatbed, or reefer. So now as a dispatching company, you have to decide which one you want to start with first. Or maybe you get 3 carriers, one of each equipment type, and then see which ones run the best for you, and then open up the floodgates with only those equipment types at that point. So you want to test your business like, okay, I got 1 drive-in, 1 flatbed, 1 reefer, and I'm running, so you got 3 carriers, and I'm running those carriers in that triangular, areas, in those triangular inbound and outbound freight heavy states, Georgia, Texas, and Ohio, right? Back and forth. And then you see, okay, gee, which one of these equipment types is paying the most for me? Let's say, for example, the flatbed is. So you say, okay, well, I'm a slowly phase out the drive-in and reefer, and I'm gonna grab 2 more flatbeds to equal 3 again and just run flatbeds only since they're paying. That's how you structure your business model. You may start off with 1 of each just to get a feel of which one runs the best and which one you have an easier time booking loads for. You see what I'm getting at? Which ones you have an easier time booking for of those 3. But start with those 3, right? 1 of each, and then go from there. That's the strategy that you would do. John, you raised your hand.
Yeah, I was saying, how often does weather play a role in,
Weather, right, weather plays a role, and that's a good question. And that's another reason why I chose Georgia, Texas, and Ohio, because, those are flat land states, with the exception of Ohio. You may hit the Appalachian Mountains, depending on where you're going in Ohio. But weather and seasons play a role in that. In Ohio, you got snow. And then in Georgia, you may have like some rain, maybe even hurricane seasons. But Texas you may have tornadoes over there every now and then. But weather plays, I would say, about 20% of a factor in the equation. So that's why you, as a dispatcher, you consider that as well. And you may have a dual in your office set up as a dispatching business. You may have dual monitors in your home office, and you may have on one of the monitors a weather app or weather tab open on your browser, looking at the weather conditions and things like that. So you want to get to that point too. You always want to factor those things in. But starting out, you're going to have carriers who drive and they don't care what the weather is. Like you watch that show. I used to watch this show on A&E.
Ice Road Truckers. Ice
Road Truckers. Yep. These guys are on ice on the side of mountains with no rails, driving slanted. I'm like, these guys is retarded or something. I don't know what's going on. They must be drinking apple juice or something. I don't get it because it was crazy. And you see the trailers sliding, almost falling off. They driving. Oh man, I'll make it. I'm trying to get this $10,000 load. So stuff like that. So if they can drive it, but they got chains on their wheels, right, for traction and stuff. So weather plays a factor about 20% of the time in the situation.
accidents too? So like, how do you handle accidents? Like as a dispatcher, like how do you handle like one of your carrier gets into a, you know, the truck jackknifes and, you know, he loses his load.
Right. So
what happens?
I had a situation where I had a carrier break down. He picked up a load in North Carolina and he was supposed to go to, I think it was Elks, Nevada. Elks, Nevada, or something like that. And he broke down in Missouri. So if you guys have your map up, right? So the load paid, I think it was $3,600. So he picked it up in a military base in North Carolina. I want to say Fort Detrick. I think Fort Detrick is in Maryland, but I think it was Bragg. He picked it up and he was crossing over interstate and he broke down in Missouri. He was supposed to be in Nevada. So what happened was the broker paid him only for what he hauled for North Carolina to wherever he was in Missouri. And then the broker got a power only truck to pick up that trailer from where he broke down from and finished the rest of the load for $1,200. So he got paid $24 for what he did, and the other carrier he got paid for the remainder of that load. So my guy had to have his truck hauled. He had to uncouple from that trailer, drop that trailer, have his truck hauled to a local repair shop there, and then came and just came and got his trailer from that spot where he dropped, where he delivered at, I'm saying. So, but situations like that do happen. You have emergencies, but again, it goes back to communication. You have to communicate with the broker, let them know, because they had to do a power only, what's called a trailer interchange or a trailer exchange to authorize another power only unit to pick up your trailer with the freight. Because my guy, it was his truck and trailer. He owned the truck and trailer, but the power only guy came to pick up his trailer, hauled it over to Nevada. And then when my guy's tractor got repaired, he had to go get his trailer in Nevada, you see. But the broker found him a power only load, taking him close to that area. So he still made money going toward, he found something like in Salt Lake, ended up in Salt Lake. So he only had a deadhead from Salt Lake to Elko, Nevada, which is a shorter deadhead than it would have been from Missouri to Elko, Nevada. You see what I'm saying? So he still made, he made money. He made $2,400 getting to Missouri when he broke down. And then he made a little bit of power only money from the Missouri area over to Salt Lake City.
Right. And
then he just drove empty. He bobtailed, because he bobtailed to Elko to get his trailer. And then we just found him a load back. So those are things you'll learn along the way as a dispatcher, but it's good to have people who've been through that experience in a network that kind of, is kind of familiar with the process and understand. And we had a good broker. I think it was Coyote Logistics. This broker was, we were communicating with each other, and he was saying, okay, I think you need to do this. Let's do this first. Let's find him a repair and all this other stuff. So much so that I actually put the website that he gave me in my back office, because it worked out to be a good thing. And I'm gonna show you guys what that is right now. So in my back office, there is it's called NTTS, National Truck and Trailer Service. So let me see. And if anyone else has any other questions, let me know, but so in the back office here, under tools and resources, can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Right here, if you click this image, this NTTS breakdown solutions for the trucking industry, it's going to open up another tab. Okay. So this is the National Truck and Trailer Service. They provide service for tires, repairs, breakdowns, anything. So whatever state that you're broke down in, so let's say Georgia, it's a national database. So let's say you're broke down in Georgia. Let's select Georgia. Okay, I'm broke down in Georgia. And what city? I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. So it has every city in that state that you selected. Let's say I got broken down in Atlanta. So now what's your problem? You got truck repair, towing, tires, refrigeration, trailer repair. So whatever problem you have, right? So let's say that we had a truck repair. I'm gonna select truck repair, boom, right? Then you go through this little verifying that you're not a robot by selecting, I hate these things because I always get them wrong the first time. And I gotta redo them. Yeah, Tasha, I'm slow like that. I get them wrong all the time. I gotta keep going like, man, what in the world?
You're a robot.
Yeah,
That's
I'm a
right.
robot.
You're a robot.
Now, we selected truck repair. So now it gives you within the Atlanta metropolitan area all the fleet truck repair companies that you can select to come out to you and service you. Now, this is a free service. This right here is free. This is in our back office. Now, you will pay either you or your insurance is going to pay for whichever one you select to come to you. But look at all the choices. And this is across the country for whatever category. You see what I'm saying? This is a very good resource. I just selected truck repair. I can go back and start a new search, and let's say something else happened. Let's say I'm in Georgia. I broke down my guys, and I'm a dispatcher. And my guy called me and said, man, I broke down, man. He'll say, where you at? Somebody give me somewhere. Somebody give me a city and state.
Let's do Newark, New Jersey.
Newark, New Jersey. Okay. So let's go back. And you called me. I'm your dispatcher. You called me and said, man, I'm broke down in Newark, New Jersey. Okay, you in New Jersey? Okay. What's wrong with your truck, man? What's going on with it? So you break down. You in Newark, New Jersey. I could type it in. Let's type Newark in. Let's just type it in. Boom, Newark. Bam, get there quicker, right? So what's the problem with your truck, right? You tell me and pick a problem with your truck, John. What's going on with it?
I was gonna be funny and say my truck is dirty.
Okay, truck wash. There you go. Look. Don't be funny. Look, there it is. Truck wash.
My truck dirty, bro.
Truck dirty. You need to go to a truck. Look, boom. Truck wash. Look at all these selections. Okay. And look how close you. Okay. I got one within 3 miles. Let's go to Kim Wash. 3 miles over on Doremus Street. 184 Doremus Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
You're familiar with that area because you in Newark, right?
Mm-hmm.
And boom, and there's a number. Look at that. Come on, man. This is a resource that I added to the back office based off of the experience, the positive experience I got from it. So I said, well, every other dispatcher who has a carrier who may have a problem needs to use this resource. Let's say it wasn't a truck wash. Let's say your truck is shining right now. Maybe you had something hit your glass. You shattered the glass. Or you cracked the glass and you need to get that repaired before it gets worse. You know how you get these small cracks and then over time they spread, and then eventually you better either gonna put some epoxy in there and get that dot cleared, or you're gonna have to pay for the whole windshield, right? Yeah. So that's how it is. So you just look up that. I mean, that's a good resource. And here we go with the auto glass repair, either commercial or regular auto glass. You just figure out which one does it for commercial, and then you go from there. So that's a good resource that I put in the back office for you guys to have. So everybody that's in this training has access to this, and it's under tools and resources, along with all the other tools and resources on here. You got caller scripts, you got how to figure out truck costs and expenses, owner operator best practices, DAT trend lines, the hot markets. So you will know what we just went over as far as inbound and outbound freight. You also get it in the hot market map. Okay. Someone just type something in. Let me see what this is. Oh, she said awesome. So yeah, so I try to add value to this portal as much as possible. You see, as much as possible. So forms and documents and tools and resources and training videos. So everything that you guys need will be in here. So I think we finished the point that we made as far as the end for Anthony, as far as the inbound and outbound freight, the triangular thing. We did that for you, Anthony?
Yes, thank you very much. I had another question.
Go ahead.
I'm probably jumping ahead of the gun right now, but you had mentioned prior about dispatchers setting up a MC authority to have trucks run under that authority. What is the benefits and pros and cons of doing that as a dispatcher?
Well, dispatchers cannot have an MC authority. I guess what I meant was, let me answer this question. Eunice said, how long is it this information good for? This information is good for as long as you have access to the back office, Eunice. I'm assuming you're asking the question about how long is the information, the tools and resources good for. Once you enroll in this portal and the member, all this is yours. Everything back here is yours for as long as you need it. There is no limit. It's unlimited. I'm a no-limit soldier like Master P. So, nah. So now for Anthony's question, dispatchers cannot have an MC authority, but what you can do, you can apply for an MC authority as a trucking company. You can start your own. You can get an MC authority without having trucks. So here's a strategy I'm gonna show you, because I think I know where you're going with this. You're heading in that entrepreneurial area. So dispatchers you can apply for an MC authority as a trucking company without having a truck, without owning a truck. Now you do need to list a truck when you apply for the authority, as far as insurance and all that stuff. But then once you get an MC authority as a trucking carrier, as a motor carrier company, you can lease your authority to other owner operators and then charge them a percentage of their weekly settlements. Like say you lease your authority to a trucking company who makes $8,000 to $10,000 a week, and you charge 15% of their gross, right? They make $10,000 a week, and you charge 10%. You charge 15% of that. 15% of 10,000 is $1,500, right? So you made $1,500 just allowing an owner operator who does not have an authority to lease under your authority. Why do the owner operators do that? Because they don't want the headache of having an MC authority. They don't want the headache of having to deal with insurance and all that stuff. So they'll pay somebody to use their authority to make it easier for them. They'll just drive, make the money, and then just pay you to cover the other stuff, right?
But I have to have the insurance though, right?
The owner operators could have the insurance, or you can have the insurance too. Now here's the problem with letting drivers lease under your authority. If they do something like if they have an accident or have points or go to a weigh station and get weighed and get a level 1 or level 3 inspection by a DOT officer at that station, and then that truck gets put out of service, who do you think's MC that's going to affect? It's going to affect your MC because they're under your authority. That's why if you get an MC authority and you choose to go the route of allowing someone to run under your authority, you want to make sure you vet that driver out as much as possible, because you don't want to damage your MC authority. You want to make sure that you get their CSA scores, accidents, points, everything before you go that route. The money is good, but the danger is also great. You see? So.
Well, that's why you don't cheapen it. You don't. That's why I always say, if you're doing it, you gotta make sure you put a premium to that MC authority. You just can't say, I'm gonna give you, give me $50 and you can use it.
No,
because they're not gonna respect it.
No, never.
It's like having a medallion in New York City. That medallion on those taxis, used to be worth, like $1 million insurance you have to have. Right. So you had that high price on it. These guys are gonna respect it, hopefully. Right.
And you have a vetting system in place that's foolproof, right? But that comes over time with experiences. So maybe you categorize what your vetting system is, and then you plug in the driver to see if that driver meets that category, those categories and that criteria. And if they don't, I'm sorry, I can't do it, because my company and my MCs, the authenticity of my MC is more important than this one driver. As a business person, now you're thinking in business terms now, so you have to put those checks, friend or not, family or not. I've seen some family members go crazy on people.
Jack it up.
Yeah, that's the worst. I hate to say it, but they are the worst.
They're the worst
to do business with, right? The worst. Now there are some family members who are okay, but You got some family members that are like, dude, that Johnson family vacation. Yo, cuz, let me hold something. There are a few, let me hold something. No, I'm not letting you hold nothing. I'll let you hold this job application. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, so if you let's say you are a dispatching company and your dispatching company is moving along and you're progressing as a company, you're real successful to the point where your company is you're automating it and you're good and you want to venture out and do something else, but stay within the transportation industry, you can say, okay, let me go ahead and apply for my MC authority as a motor carrier. I can, lease a truck from Penske or use a truck, because you got to put down a truck, once that you can't get an authority. That authority is not going to become active until you have insurance behind it and a truck behind it with a VIN number.
Don't most drivers have MC authorities though?
Most drivers either have MC authority.
Carriers in the state, right? They
are either owner operators. They either have a DOT and an MC or just a DOT. They'll either have a DOT which says they can only run within their state, which is called that's an intrastate. They're intrastate, or they have an MC and DOT, or they're leased under someone's authority, which is what Anthony was talking about. Mm-hmm. So yeah, but you have to have something to run. You can't have something has to be active in relation to a DOT and an MC in order to move freight. It's just not going to happen. Brokers are not going to just let anyone run under this load. That's why brokers ask for a copy of the MC authority letter, copy of the the certificate of insurance, and a copy of the W-9, because that's how they vet out carriers to get them set up with them. You see how it comes back full circle? You have to be active. So I hope I answered that question, Anthony.
How do you apply for it though? How do you get one of those?
fmcsa.dot.gov. And under my freight brokerage, that's one of the requirements, but we can go for the registration. You can register for it. Registration form. There's different forms, but you start off with it with the OP1 form. The OP1 form is the initial form to apply for an authority, to register for an authority with the FMCSA. The FMCSA is the Federal Motor Carriers Safety Administration. It is the governing body for the transportation. It's one of the governing bodies for the transportation industry. DOT is the other. So, yeah. Let me see. Let's see. Someone asked, hi, will the Zoom? Yeah, the Zoom is recorded. She's at work. She can't watch it. Coming back and forth. Okay, yeah, it's recorded. Speaking of the FMCSA list, what was SAFER again? SAFER is for a company snapshot. The SAFER website is used as a company snapshot when you look up a company, whether it's a trucking company or a brokerage or a freight forwarding, to kind of decide on going after a carrier. But the FMCSA website is used for various things. You can either use it to apply for a broker or carrier authority or other things. FMCSA registration. So this is the initial site to apply for an authority, whether it be a broker authority or whether it be a carrier authority. There's different types of authorities, right? So for motor carriers, truck drivers, there are 4 different versions of that authority. There is an authority there's a common carrier authority, which will be what most of you dispatching companies will go after as far as the trucking types. The truck drivers that you dispatch for will have a motor carrier, a common carrier, interstate authority, okay? That's one. Number 2, contracted carriers. Number 3, passenger carriers. And number 4, HHG, which is household goods. So the ones you will focus on would be common carriers, interstate, okay? And then on the broker side, you got 2 types of broker authorities. You got a broker of property and a broker of household goods, HHG. So the brokers that you will deal with when you book loads for your carriers will be a broker of property. Okay, always. All right. So keep that in mind. You're dispatching for motor carriers, interstate, common carriers. and you're booking loads with brokers who are property brokers or brokers of property. All right. Always, always, always. So you register here. This is where you get started. So this is the site. I just pasted the link inside of the chat. And then the company snapshot, someone asked about that. I think LaSonia asked about that one. This is the company snapshot where you can look up drivers based off of their DOT, their MC, or their name. Okay. All right, guys. I think we're winding down here. We got about 10 minutes. Any for the newer people who just registered and joined, any navigation questions, basic questions about did all of you guys log into the back office and do your email and password and send that to me so I can get you approved to have access to the back office? If you did not, that's one of the first things that you guys will need to do in order to be able to at least navigate this back office portal. Okay, send me an email. Matter of fact, let me check my email now to see. So while I'm doing that, are there any other questions?
Yeah, Charles, I had a question.
Okay.
On the Trucker Path website, I was unable to find the tab where it says truck searches, so you can start doing cold calling.
Okay, let me go there. Okay, so
that tab doesn't come up. I guess on the website.
Was it on your phone or a computer?
Computer.
Computer. Okay, so let's go to Trucker's Path. And then did you go to sign in?
Yes.
And then the sign in for Trucker's Path, that's in the back office. So right here, did you get to this screen when you signed in?
Yeah, the screens are different from the website that I have, but it is Trucker's Path. So I don't know if it's because it's a different website. Maybe I have to navigate more to get the correct website, but this screen doesn't come up once I sign in.
Okay, so let me log out of this one and let me go through the portal and see, because I'm assuming you went through the portal to get to the Trucker's Path, right?
Correct.
Okay, so let's do it. Let's do it that way. And let me log out of everything so I can have some bandwidth here. All right, so if you're going through the portal, you're going to go down to load boards, right? And then I'm going to click there and then hit the arrows to go over to Trucker's Path, which is right here. Click that to open up another tab and then hit sign in. And it should be under load board logins. One of the logins should be the login for Trucker's Path. And it should log in like that, right?
So if I go to the www site, it's going to come up different.
If I were you, I would just go through the portal and just click that link. So just without the www, click this link. It takes you directly to it.
Okay.
It'll open up another tab and take you directly to it, like it did on this example. And then you'll get there, and then if you notice here, you see the truck link right here. So what Anthony is referring to, you guys who are new, he's working on carrier acquisition, and one of the methods of going after carriers is cold calling. The number one method is if you have a truck stop in your area, you can just visit the truck stop and just have a conversation with the owner operators. But if you want to do cold calling to get a carrier under it, and I didn't even go over the dispatcher agreement and the profile either. That's another thing. But Trucker's Path is one of the tools that we use to call carriers, to cold call carriers. Another tool that we use is Quick Transport Solutions. Another tool that we use is the FMCSA database registry of new carriers who just got their authority active. Another tool that we use is the DAT directory. So we got 4 tools under cold calling, the cold calling category alone that we use to go after carriers to call to try to get them under a dispatch agreement. And that's just under cold calling. Okay. So here's what Anthony was referring to. This is the truck search feature on Truckers Path. When you log in there, you hit truck search, you're going to come to this screen right here. And this little gray box area, I usually leave all states selected. And then under equipment type, I hit the any button to deselect everything. And then I select the 3 major equipment types. Remember, drive-in, flatbed, and reefer. And then under safety rating, I just select satisfactory. Why, again, why would I have a carrier that I'm going to call a broker for to book a load whose safety rating is conditional or unsatisfactory? What do you think the chances of me getting a load with that broker is if I have a carrier with an unsatisfactory or a conditional rating? That's a red flag, right? So only if you're using this method, only check satisfactory. That way you save yourself a whole lot of headache. And then hit search. And now you get, in real time, people who've logged in. These are carriers who are logged into the Truckers Path load board, either looking for a load or making their truck available. It's the weekend, so they're probably looking for a load. I mean, I'm sorry, they're probably, they're probably looking for a load. So they're just looking, but they're logged in and we get to see them. So then you go to the end right here. This person logged in 4 minutes ago. He logged in twice apparently. And he's a flatbed satisfactory rating because all of them are. Tony Romano, that's his information. If you notice these little blue drop down arrows, you click that, it expands to give you more data about that carrier. This is where I use the safer website someone was referring to earlier, which is the company snapshot, to vet out the carrier a little further to make sure that they're not part of a brokerage, right? So this person has a DOT number. It doesn't mean that they don't have an MC number. They may not have listed it there, but they do have a DOT number. So I copy that DOT and I paste that value in the safer website under DOT, right? So I did it here. I copied the DOT for that person. And then I selected the DOT radio button and I pasted that DOT value and hit search. And now it gives me that person's information. They do have an MC, it just wasn't listed in the Truckers Path, but it is listed. Safer is a safety net, it's safer.
Another question.
Yes.
So that's actually a way you can cross-check, you can cross-reference if someone's multiplying, if they're using their MC authority with other drivers, right?
There you go, there you go. That's a good reference. That's yes, there you go. So let me copy, let me give you guys, it's in the back office, but I'm just gonna give it to you real quick in the chat. So, but yes. So now you're thinking like a dispatcher. Yep. So this person is based in Oregon, but right now he's somewhere in California because that's where he's at right now. So if you notice over here, the map, it shows the orange, that's where he's located, literally located right now. He's based in Oregon, but that's where he's located right now in Oakland. So
he's looking for loads to go back in there.
He's probably looking, yeah, he's probably either doing his reset because it's the weekend Sunday. He's probably resting, getting ready to watch the football game, chilling in his sleeper, you know, maybe parked at a truck stop, who knows? And he just happened to be logged into Truckers Path right now, look at 6 minutes ago. And then you would, you know, call the person. He's in the flatbed category. Now remember too, when you cold call carriers in the flatbed category, you want to make sure that you ask them, say, hey man, do you have a 48 or 53 foot flatbed? He may say, no man, I got a hot shot. Why did he say that? Because hot shots are in the flatbed category, but they are 40 up to 40 foot trailers attached to a dually pickup truck. So you guys know what a hot shot looks like, right? If you don't, let me show you. Well, let me do this. Let me go to images.
Dually, right?
Yeah, the dually, images.google.com. I'm going to look up the image of it, not just do a lookup of what a hot shot is. So hot shot trucking, right? So these are what hot shots look like.
Yep.
That's a hot shot. So you see a dually pickup truck, they're usually like a Ram 3500 or a Chevy or a Ford 3500 with the dual axles on the back, and then attached to a trailer up to about 40 feet. It's usually 35 feet, but it has a 5-foot, what's called dovetail ramp that folds out and over to the ground. So, you know, you can get things up there. These are called hot shots, right? Some of them do auto hauling, some of them haul military stuff, but that's, so when you see it, when you hear a person say hot shot, this is what they're referring to. Okay.
All right.
And let me copy that and put that in there so you guys can get that link.
And those are up to 40 feet? You said up to 45?
Up to 40 feet.
40, right, okay.
They may be up to 35 feet, but with a 5-foot dovetail ramp. So that's what makes it 40. Or they may be 40 feet straight without a ramp. So this one does not have a ramp on it. Well, no, yeah, it does. There it is right there. And it just folds out and over the little things on the end. So yeah. All right. So that's what we're referring to with hot shots. Yep, you're welcome, Anthony.
So how is it wise for us as dispatchers to get our own factoring company?
I'm gonna say yes and no. Starting out, I would say no, but over time you can consider, I wouldn't say getting a factory company, I would say partnering with a factory company in such a way that you offer services to carriers, to your carriers who do not have factory companies, and then you get a kickback for that.
What's a factory company?
A factory company is a company that buys the receivables. So let me take you through a walk of a load, right? So here we go. So you got a carrier, they booked the load with the company. They went to pick it up. When the carrier goes to pick up a load, they receive what's called a BOL, a bill of lading. It's a sheet, right? Most times it's like carbon copied, it's 3 layers, right? So your carrier goes to the shipper to pick the load up. They get a BOL. They get loaded at the shipper. They go in there. The shipper, they bang on the side of their trailer. Boom, boom, boom. You're loaded. Come on in and get the paperwork. They come in and get the BOL. The shipper signs the top area or the shipper area of the BOL, and then the carrier signs the area next to the shipper's name, verifying that everything got loaded. All the pallet counts was good. Nothing was damaged. And then they tear off that first copy. So now they got 2 copies of the BOL. Now they're driving, they left the shipper, they're in transit, driving from the shipper to the receiver to deliver that load. They get to the receiver, they get offloaded at the receiver, boom, 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 and knock on the trailer, come on, you're done. Let's come on and sign this, you're offloaded. They get offloaded, they check all the pallet counts was verified from what they picked up at the shipper, nothing was damaged. They sign in, the receiver signs in their receiver area. The carrier signs next to the receiver name, verifying that everything was in good order. They tear that final copy off, give that to the receiver. What's left over is the carrier's, now the BOL turns into what's called a POD, a proof of delivery. They picked up at the shipper, it was signed for. They delivered at the receiver, it was verified. That's the POD, proof of delivery. It's also the invoice of the carrier, so they can get paid either through the broker or through a factory company. The factory company buys these invoices, these receivables, these PODs for a small percentage so they can pay the carrier quicker, because sometimes brokers pay like 15 days out, 30 days out, 45 days out. Well, carriers can't wait that long to get their money. So factoring companies are like internal banks in the trucking industry, right? They'll pay for the receivables. They'll give you, let's say that was a $5,000 load. Factory companies charge like 5% to pay you like 24 hours. They'll give you whatever, let's see, what's 5% of 5,000? What's that, $250?
50, yeah.
Let's see.
I think so.
5,000 times 5%, $250. So they're gonna charge $250 to give you that difference, right? So within 24 hours or same day, they may offer that service at 5%. So if I'm a carrier, instead of waiting on a broker to pay me 15 days, I'll give a factory company $250 to give me whatever that difference is. What is that difference? 5,000 minus 250.
75. 47.50.
47. I'm not gonna miss $250 when I'm getting $4,750 today for delivering that load today.
So you're a check cashing place then?
No, they're not.
No, that's what it is. You're a check cashing business too.
Oh yeah, the factory companies. Yeah. I'm in the wrong line of work, right? So,
That's what I'm saying.
but this is what factory companies do. They'll pay you 24 to 48 hours. They'll give you that $4,700 for that $250, and then they'll go to the broker to make up the difference later on. That's how factory companies work.
So you're a factory company, you're a dispatcher, and you can offer tax services to these truck drivers. So you basically own their whole financial life. You're getting like 5 incomes on top of that.
Potentially, I'm not a factory company, but I need to be. But yeah.
And there's tax ramifications in there too. I'm assuming.
Right. You can for the trucking. Yeah, any line item expenses, depends on if you itemize your deductions and things like that as a trucking company. You know, a lot of things you can write off as part of cost of doing business as a trucking company, even as a dispatching company. Like when you start your dispatching company, work from home, you can write off the square footage in the room that you use. You can write off a portion of your light bills and whatever. You can write off fuel that you use, things that you spend that's related to your business, you know, anything. Monique just raised her hand.
Say you call a broker, you negotiate the rate, and you all agree on a particular rate. How long does it take you to get the paperwork together to send to the broker? Is that like an hour of time, 30 minutes?
If you're within 20 to 30 minutes. So the paperwork that you're saying is
Carrier packet.
the carrier packet. So the broker's going to send you the carrier packet. Either he's going to send it to you one of two ways. He's going to send it to you in paper form, attached to an email PDF, where you fill it out that way. Or most brokers are getting caught up with the 21st century, and they are sending you a link to an online onboarding system. It's called RMIS, Registry Monitoring Insurance Service. I'll show you what that is right now.
Because I'm just trying to figure out, like, let's say I gradually work my way up to 10 trucks a week.
Okay.
And I to figure out how much time that'll take, you know, if I'm filling out, I don't know, 20 to 30 packets a week.
Well, you're not. You're not going to be filling out 20 and 30 packets a week. You only got to do that once. If you got 10 trucks and you starting out, and you're dealing with brokers. Let's say you deal with the same broker, 10 carriers dealing with the same broker, or each broker, you only got to do one carrier packet per broker per truck. After that, once you get set up with a broker and you're set up with that broker, you don't have to do a carrier packet every time. The only thing you have to do now is just sign the rate confirmation. So that takes 5-10 minutes, but you only got to do the carrier packet for the broker per carrier one time.
Okay.
What is that thing called again? What is a broker? You said a broker company that you doing you're charging it for the payment?
Oh, the factoring company.
A factoring?
Factoring. Let me put it in here real quick.
Factory company.
John sound like he's shifting gears on you now, Charles.
Yeah, John trying to get that money. I'm thinking about that money. Y'all must got some cash flow sitting around.
Hey.
You got some John buried in the ground or something.
Hey, he ain't here for dispatching no more.
No.
He didn't check out. He had the check cashing place.
Exactly.
I'm a big cup right here. I'm
Exactly.
a big cup. Just pour it on me.
Got you, bro. I got you.
I was actually thinking probably what Monique was talking about. Maybe is it the carrier dispatcher agreement? Because every time you get a different carrier, don't you have to have their information?
Yes.
Maybe, I don't know.
For your dispatching company, yes.
Right.
Yes. Yep.
Every time you have a different driver, you have to have a different packet for them.
Right. So every time you get a different driver or carrier under your dispatching company, you have to get a dispatcher agreement for that driver. Yes.
Right. So now that all of that stuff we have in your back office.
Yes.
But should we not formulate that somehow into like a file?
Of course.
A hard copy.
Of course.
Kind of, sort of, and like just send that one thing one time?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
The only thing that you're going to be sending to the carrier is a dispatcher agreement and profile. Or
Right.
you might put it in one file. Like here's mine. Here's the one I got as a template in the back office here. And
Okay, template. So I need to make me a template for.
well, you could just copy my template and then just change my information to yours. Yeah, I'm telling you, this back office. This is your resource.
Hey, tell them, Charles, that back office ain't no pump.
I'm trying to make it as user friendly for you guys as possible.
And it actually is.
It is, man.
So here's an example of a dispatch agreement, and the profile is packed inside with the dispatch agreement. And you don't have to be 9 pages like this one. This is just detailed. You can tweak it how you see fit. And this is in the back office. Take a look at this and decide how you want to tweak it for your business. Okay, I'm just scrolling through this. Just take a look at and just add to and take away from this as you see fit for your business, right?
So we take out all the Exodus stuff and put in our own LLC company.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Yep. And that's what it's there for. This is the profile.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't have to be as detailed as this, but you get the point, right? It gives you an idea of what to say and what to do. What states do they go to? They can circle the states that they go to. That way you know where to target the freight for them. You see?
So should you fill out part of this first before you send it off to them? Like fill out what we have to do, or they have to do everything?
You can pre-fill in. See, my stuff is already pre-filled in because I already got stuff where it says Exodus, everything here. You just change it. This is the PDF, so you might have to import it into like DocuSign or PDF filler, or you can just copy each page and paste it on a Word document and then just edit it as you see fit for your company. So, and then truck operation. Some of the stuff you may or may not need, you may not have to be as detailed. You may want to get the bare minimums for that first, and then as you go on, you know, because you need a dispatch agreement to profile, and then you need those other documents from them.
Right.
The W-9, which I think I said on the first page right here. The MC authority, the DOT. Well, the MC authority and DOT is going to be on the same piece of paper. It's on the MC authority letter from the FMCSA. It's on the same paper. And then the W-9 and the certificate of insurance. And what do those look like? Well, let me show you. Forms and documents right here. MC authority letter. This is what one looks like. This is an example of what one looks like. The W-9. This is an example of what one looks like. And they'll have it filled out with their EIN. You want to make sure that their EIN number and not their social is associated with their business, right?
Right.
And what else? Certificate of insurance. It's an example of what a certificate of insurance looks like. Remember we went over that earlier about the certificate holder situation, you know? Right. And
the ones we have access to are not going to have those markups on them though, right? Well,
this one, the one you have access to will not have the markups on them, but this is just an example.
Gotcha, okay.
The one you have access to is the one you're going to receive from your carrier when they send it back to you. This is just showing you what it looks like.
Right.
So all these documents are going to be what you receive back from your carrier.
These are back, right. And
these
we're sending out
because these documents are needed by the broker from you when you book loads, when you get that carrier set up with the broker. Because brokers ask for these documents all the time when they book loads. When you book loads for your carrier, every broker is going to ask you for these documents. So as a dispatching company, it makes sense, right, to get these documents up front from your carriers to you, to your company, so then you can just send copies to different brokers as you need them, as opposed to chasing down the carrier every 5 minutes to book a load. That's going to delay the time in booking a load and potentially losing that load. But if you have these documents in your company up front, then you can avoid that problem. And then here's what a carrier packet looks like. This is what a carrier packet looks like when you fill it out for the broker. Just an example of one, you know, and you can go through that. This is what a rate confirmation looks like. An example of a rate confirmation. And this is the rate confirmation. Once that's signed by you representing your carrier. When you sign carrier packets and you sign rate confirmations and send them back to the broker, you're not signing your information, you're signing representing your carriers. You're signing your carrier's name, you're signing your carrier's company, right? Because it's a broker carrier agreement. It's not a broker dispatcher agreement, right? As the name suggests, broker carrier agreement, not broker dispatcher agreement.
So once our carrier get us the BOL, then the rate confirmation, we send that to the broker.
No. The BOL, if your carrier has a BOL, that means that you've already gotten your carrier set up.
You already signed up.
He's already signed up and everything. He's already booked. He's already got the load. You've already signed the rate confirmation and sent it to the broker. The carriers are, if your carrier got a BOL from the shipper, that means he's already gotten the rate confirmation sent into the broker, and the load is booked. He's already picked the load up from the shipper. The BOL means that he's already picked the load up. And
totally finished.
And you've already passed that stage of setting your carrier up and signing a rate confirmation, officially booking that load. If you got if you got a carrier that's at a shipper, picking up a load, getting a BOL, you've already passed the stage of getting them set up and getting the rate confirmation. You've already passed that stage.
So rate confirmation already just over there. So the BOL is the final.
The BOL is it's the bill of lading. That means that you've already booked the load and you've picked it up and you've even delivered it to the receiver. And now it's turned into from a BOL to a POD. Proof of delivery.
I think she's confusing what he's talking about is signing up the driver. So getting all the driver's initial paperwork to send off to that
to the broker.
To the broker.
Okay, then
after he delivers, after he does his whole pickup and delivery, that's when he gets that other paperwork. That's his receipt.
Correct.
So that's complete. That's two separate pieces of thing you're dealing with.
Correct. So
all that's already done.
Right. So starting out, let's say you cold call a driver, you convince them, the driver say, yeah, I want you to be my dispatcher. Send me your dispatcher agreement. So you sent them the dispatcher agreement and the profile. They filled it out. And then in the body of the email that you sent to them, you told them, okay, fill out this dispatch agreement and profile. And when you send that back, please send back copies of your W-9, your MC authority letter, your certificate of insurance. And if you have a factoring company, send me a blank NOA, notice of assignment, because that's what goes, that's for the factory companies. So then he or she fills that out and sends it back to you. Now you have all that in your internal business and you put that in a filing system for your business. Right. So now when you call brokers to book loads and you say, hey, Mr. Broker, I need a load. I'm looking at this load. Okay, what's your MC? Blah, blah, blah. You guys go through all that. You guys agree. He said, I'm gonna send you a carrier packet, fill that out and send that back to me along with these documents. Because the broker needs to see your MC authority, your W-9 and your certificate of insurance to verify that your carrier, in the case of a W-9, is a business. Your carrier, in the case of a certificate of insurance, has enough coverage, and your carrier, in the case of an MC authority, is authorized to move freight. So that's why you got those documents in your filing system, and then you just take copies of that and upload it to the broker. So now everything is working in unison. So now with the broker, you filled out the carrier packet, you sent the documents in, the broker processed all that and said, okay, your carrier is set up with me. Let me send you now the rate confirmation. The broker sends you the rate confirmation. You go over the rate confirmation, make sure that the numbers match what the numbers were on the load board when you first saw it. That's why you called the broker, because you saw those good numbers. Those numbers match, you sign it, send it back to the broker. Once you send that signed rate confirmation back to the broker, that load is officially booked.
Then your driver can leave.
The load is booked, then you let your driver know, hey, you send of course your driver's going to get a copy of that rate confirmation because your driver needs to know where he or she is picking that load up at. So now once your driver gets to the shipper, he has a copy of the rate confirmation. He gets to the shipper loads them up and gives them a BOL, a bill of lading. That's the starting point for the transit of that freight, right?
Right.
Then he gets to the receiver to deliver that load. Now the receiver signs it, verifying that everything that he picked up was in good order and accounted for. Now they tear their copy off. Now he has what's called a POD. That BOL turns into a POD, proof of delivery, right? And that's what the carrier is going to use as their invoice to get paid, either through the broker or through a factoring company. That is the process.
How do they get that to you, that BOL?
They can take they can take a picture on a phone, they can upload it at the truck stop with a fax, however they get it to you, and then either they're going to get it to you, their factoring company, or the broker. But one way or another, it's going to get to somebody's, because that's the carrier's invoice, so they can get their money. So you can get your money, because after the carrier gets paid, then you invoice personally, your dispatching business invoices the carrier, whatever your flat rate or your percentage is to get paid for that particular load that you just helped them get booked. And while that carrier is under that load, you're not just sitting at home twiddling your thumbs, you're working on your next load for the carrier. So while he or she's in transit, you're still working, finding a load for your carrier. Now you may do that X amount of number of times, depending on how many other carriers you have. Let's say you got 3 carriers. So you're doing this same process 3 times, or however many you can handle one person, right? So then you get to the point where you say, okay, this is pretty easy. I'm doing this pretty regularly. Let me scale my business. Let me bring some employees under me, sub-dispatchers, and assign them carriers. So now you're scaling your business. But again, that's going to come in time. You want to learn the process first, right? Let's get the foundation down. Let's get the basics down and understand the process. See, my goal as an instructor is to teach you the basic process. The process is the same. The only thing that changes are the players, the drivers and the brokers, right? But the process, the workflow is the same. It's the same thing in and out. You get a carrier, you look at a load, you find a load, you call the broker, you book the load, you get paid. That's the process. That's the workflow. There it is.
This is the future question. How is artificial intelligence going to start affecting dispatchers? It's not already infecting it. It's affecting it now. There's an AI organization out there now that's developing software. Matter of fact, I was just in a meeting. I had a Zoom meeting. Dang, what's the name of that company? Because they have driverless trucks out here now. You know that, right? They have driverless trucks, but they're only on major interstates, flat lands, because they can't drive down certain streets and turns, right? They'll kill people, right? They're satellite based. You know, satellites only go straight up and down. They're not at angles, right? So those driverless trucks can only go so many places on flat land and so many. What if it's cloudy one day and it's raining real bad? You can't pick up satellite images like that. So not yet.
These geniuses who thought of this stuff didn't really take all that into consideration, but you know, they're starting to let's see, AI.
They're using it. They're using infrared and sonar.
There you go. So we got like smart supply chains. We got AI intelligence. I had the name of that. What was the name of that company? I can't remember that company name. It'll come to me, but it's in the works. It's not going to be, I would give it another 10, 15 years before the testing phase even start. Right now they're in the development phase. You know, like when I come from a corporate environment with software development, and when we develop software, we have a development phase, we have a testing phase, you know, UA testing, and then we go to production. They're not even halfway in the development phase yet. So that's another 10 to 15 years before they even test it and then launch it in production, so to speak. So you don't have to worry about it. You can have your dispatching company running for 10 years and then branch off to getting your own authority, and maybe it would open up a freight brokerage by the time that AI come along. So, and even if AI did come along, you can leverage that technology somewhere in your business. You know what I'm saying? You can bring your business model at some point. At some point, you would have an idea where you want to leverage AI in your business, because
you should put it software.
Right. You would have been so far along developing in your business that you would know, okay, I need to plug AI right here to automate this a little bit more. I can still do this manually, but I can automate with AI over here and make my business even scalable more. So
All right.
Yes, sir.
Hope I didn't hold you guys too long.
That's good stuff.
Okay, so let me read. Somebody sent something back about. Okay, hey guys, I spoke with Ebony. I've been told that. Okay, but to be honest, if she don't need our assistance, I'll be sending her some resources too. Okay, so she needs our assistance, relocate. Okay, so Tanya is helping her. She's sending her resources to relocate. She has a one-year-old son. Due to COVID, she is currently not working. Man, she is not aware of all of us assisting, so she is going to be surprised, and I will try to get diapers and wipes once her, man, Jesus Christ. All right, so I need to call her. I need to do this recording, do the editing on this recording, and then call her too. So, all right, guys, if you find it in your heart, please reach out to her and do what you can. For those who can, those who cannot, that's fine. But those who can, please, and it'll come back to you. Somebody got a question?
Oh, so we're sending the payment through PayPal because she's not gonna be able to get a cash out.
Right, and her PayPal email was in the chat. Did you see it? I can put it up there again. Okay.
The Nene Logan, is that it? The 30?
Yeah, Nene Logan. Yeah, Nene Logan 38 at Gmail. Yep. So I'm gonna get started on my transfer my money and then shifting it over there. So yeah, I'm gonna give her a call and talk to her a little bit, see what's going on down there, and then because she's in Statesville, Georgia. I got some people down there I can shoot her way to. I'm in Statesboro, Georgia. Yeah, I wrote it down.
Okay, Zelle. Okay, I got Zelle.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Yeah. Can you give me her Zelle information? Because that'll be better for me.
Oh, okay. Somebody has. Okay. You sent. Yeah, Pam, you got her Zelle information?
With Zelle, you can use her same email address. I'm pretty sure she has it registered on both sides.
You can use her email or her phone number.
Okay.
For Zelle.
For Zelle.
Yes, for Zelle, you can use the phone number or email address.
Okay.
Okay. Good. All right, guys. Our next training will be Wednesday evening, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live training. But you guys have access to the back office portal. Use the tools and resources. Any questions outside of the live trainings? My phone number is here, and my email is. I always put it there because of transparency reasons, right? I try to stay as transparent and as reachable as possible. Okay.
And I just want to reiterate, when Charles leaves his number, he's available when we're not in these calls because I call him on a regular. I mean, I think I'm building a relationship, but he's available if you have any questions outside his webinars because he's very accessible. So if you need him within time frame, he's very accessible. I can actually say that. So
I called him yesterday. He answered.
Yes, he is.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Not like a lot of these big dogs.
Yeah, I ain't gonna say no names. Now, even
we're not saying names, but
I'm trying to. I want to be at a point too. If I do grow and get big, I still want to have that small, reachable family mentality. Even though I may have assistants and all that stuff, I still want to have things forwarded to me, because I knew what got me there. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I want to be able to have that. I want to stay humble because I want to be grounded. Because I was in a place where, God brought me from a place where I wouldn't wish my worst enemy to be. So I want to be sure to show favor and thankfulness to God for keeping me in a humble position and keeping me grounded. And being able to help others is a blessing to me. I'm getting my blessings right now by even talking to you guys. So, all right.
Right back at you.
All right, guys.
You're a great guy, man. Appreciate it.
For your time.
You guys have a wonderful Sunday. Enjoy your week. I'll see you on Wednesday night. And call me if you have any questions. Text me, whatever. I would definitely pick the phone up. Even if I don't, leave a voicemail or text. I'll call you back at a decent time. Let me know, like, hey, Charles, this is one of your students, one of your members. I got a question. Okay, boom. Ring, 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 ring. I'm calling you right back.
So
it's Sunday. It's football day and family day. Tell your wife thank you for sharing you with us. We're wise, so we understand. We have business questions, but you have to have wifey time too.
Yeah, so my time.
Small questions, y'all. We gonna try to save them,
right?
Because he need boo time
9
too.
a.m. to 9 p.m. After 9 p.m. it's a wrap.
Exactly.
It's a wrap after 9 p.m.
Get your boo time in now.
12 years boo time. Yeah.
Keep your boo time right now.
Yes, sir. Happy wife, happy life. Trust me. I
All of that.
I learned
y'all
that
both be happy.
way. I learned that
y'all both stay happy.
I learned that the hard way. Happy wife, happy life.
Well,
but I know
everybody got to stay happy. Everybody got to stay happy. Yeah.
All right, everybody. Enjoy your weekend.
You too. Bye-bye. Thanks.
All right. Later.
Great job, everybody.